If visions of Palm Springs have started showing up in your thoughts somewhere between your last Fort Lauderdale insurance renewal and your third hurricane update of the season, let's unpack all that for a few minutes. I'm Glen Nadeau, and here's what actually changes when you make the move from Fort Lauderdale to Palm Springs. What really changes and why so many Fort Lauderdale residents are choosing the desert over the coast these days. If you have questions, drop them in the comments below. Let's dive in. Florida homeowners are now paying the highest property insurance rates in the country. And once you stack that on top of the rising HOA fees and new structural reserve requirements for condos, the true cost of owning in South Florida has quietly become one of the biggest financial pressures in the state. Then there's the climate itself. Humid heat days here have roughly doubled over the last few decades, and between king tide flooding and flash floods severe enough to shut down entire streets, 6 months of hurricane season carry mental weight that never fully switches off. Add in traffic and political division that seems to worsen every year, and it makes sense that people start looking for something calmer. None of this means Fort Lauderdale is a bad place. It means people are simply asking a fair question. Is there a version of my life that feels lighter and more manageable? Fort Lauderdale runs fast. Between the traffic, the hustle culture, and the low hum of hurricane anxiety for half of the year, there's a mental load that builds even on an ordinary Tuesday. Palm Springs runs at a different rhythm entirely. Traffic is barely a factor most of the year. The pace is unapologetically relaxed, and the culture leans towards leisure rather than constant motion. That doesn't mean nothing happens here. It means the friction most people feel day to day gets replaced with something closer to breathing room. Both cities run hot, but hot means something different in each place. Fort Lauderdale's humidity has become generally oppressive from May through October, and it shapes how people plan their entire day. Palm Springs offers over 300 days of sunshine and typically low humidity, though summers here do climb past 100 degrees from June through September. The difference is that dry heat behaves predictably. People adapt with early mornings, cool afternoons, and strong air conditioning, treating summers as a slower season rather than a threat to prepare for. There's no 6-month countdown to a named storm, just a warm stretch you plan around like any other season. If you're shopping in the $800,000 and up range, this is where the comparison gets interesting. In Fort Lauderdale, that budget often comes with a compromise attached, whether that's square footage, HOA restrictions, or an insurance question hanging over the building's finances. In Palm Springs, the same budget frequently lands a single-family home with a private pool, mid-century modern architecture, and mountain views that don't get old no matter how many years you've lived here. This is where I talk through something with almost every client at this level. If retiring in Palm Springs is even a real possibility for you in the next 5 or 10 years, buy now. Rent the home out in the meantime, let someone else help pay down your mortgage while your equity quietly builds, and move in whenever the timing in your life lines up. The home will be there waiting for you. One thing I always walk clients through upfront is how Palm Springs regulates short-term rentals, because it matters. The city requires a vacation rental registration certificate and a permit for any short-term rental, and neighborhoods cap permitted rentals at 20% of the homes in the area. That protects the character of these neighborhoods, and it means the specific home and location you choose matters enormously, which is exactly why we review the local rental rules together before you even make an offer. Fort Lauderdale has Wilton Manors, and it's one of the most beloved LGBTQ+ enclaves in the country. But it exists inside a state's political climate that has grown increasingly hostile towards LGBTQ+ residents in recent years. Palm Springs is entirely different at its foundation. This is a city where close to half the population identifies as LGBTQ+, where the city council made history as the first entirely LGBTQ+ city council in the country, and where the inclusivity runs through the whole community rather than one neighborhood, from the art scene to the design culture to the everyday feeling of simply existing without a second thought. Palm Springs also has communities like Living Out, a luxury LGBTQ+ active adult community built specifically for that stage of life. It's the kind of thing you don't fully appreciate until you live somewhere it wasn't guaranteed. Fort Lauderdale's long-term picture is clouded by sea level rise, flood risk, and an insurance market that keeps shifting under homeowners' feet. Palm Springs, by comparison, has built its identity around aging well. Excellent healthcare through facilities like Eisenhower and DAP Health, a wide range of 55-plus communities, and well-worn pattern of a second home here eventually becoming a full-time residence. It's a place built for the long game, not just the vacation. Before we wrap up, a few questions people relocating from Fort Lauderdale almost always ask, so let's address them directly. Does California income tax cancel out what I've saved by leaving Florida? It depends how you look at it. California's income tax runs higher, yes, but Florida's hidden taxes often erase that advantage entirely once you add it all up. For most of my clients, the totals land surprisingly close, and quality of life tips the decision towards Palm Springs. Is the summer heat here actually worse than Florida's humidity? It's different, not worse. 110 degrees sounds intense, but with much less humidity, you're not sweating through your clothes the moment you step outside. What is lease land, and should that worry me? A good portion of Palm Springs sits on lease reservation land, meaning you own the home but lease the land beneath it. It can lower your home purchase price, and once you understand the lease terms, it's a completely standard part of buying here. It's something I walk every client through carefully. Is Palm Springs only a retirement town? Not anymore. It's absolutely a haven for retirees, but there's a growing wave of younger remote workers, creatives, and professionals moving in for the design culture, the hiking, and easy proximity to cities like Los Angeles, San Diego, and Joshua Tree. For many Fort Lauderdale residents, this isn't an immediate decision. It's a 5 to 10 year idea finally starting to take real shape, which is exactly why timing and strategy matter more than people expect. If Palm Springs is starting to feel like a future chapter, I'm always happy to talk things through. Most people who reach out to me directly aren't ready to move tomorrow. They just want clarity. I work with Fort Lauderdale-based buyers and sellers like you every week, mapping smart timelines and options that actually fit real life. You can call or text me directly or use the contact links in the description. No pressure, just perspective. If you haven't yet already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more exciting changes, developments, and opportunities taking place here in Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.